Hey man, how are you?
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good, man.
I saw you on the set of Men in Black.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
cool.
In the behind the curtain,
Yeah.
back in the.
And actually have the Hemsworth trifecta because I've interviewed both your brothers.
Oh, cool.
I had lunch with Luke over in Dubai a couple of years ago.
All right.
Had a great time.
Yeah, awesome.
He talked about you like, oh, your brothers love you, man. Like,
Cool.
yeah,
I love them, mate. I'm very lucky.
yeah, excellent. So yeah, how are you feeling? How's it going?
Feeling good, yeah. We're in LA for about a week doing press, and here in London. I feel better on this time zone than I did on that one. I was pretty jet lagged over there. I feel good now.
So I want to talk about the evolution of this character, especially your performance with it, because I think Thor is the most interesting in terms of the development of it in from a tone perspective, because you're always trying to balance between the comedy, which you do so well, and the serious side of this massive Norse mythological world.
Yeah.
And we went a mix. We went very serious. We went very comedic. And I feel like Infinity War captured that mix really well.
Yeah.
So how has that been from your perspective in like keeping that balance and keeping that character?
I think the first, Thor 1, Thor 2, Avengers 1, 2, I definitely sort of gave myself over to whatever the vision of the director was and the writers and producers. I didn't have a huge sort of voice in that, but did feel sort of a little trapped with that, and did want to desperately do something different. And then Thor 3 felt like for the first time I really kind of put my stamp on it and had a bit more confidence in what I wanted to bring to the table. But it was at a perfect time because it was also, Taika had the same vision. Kevin Feige was also like ready for something, different, as were the fans, I think. We needed a shift tonally. And then I came into Avengers 3 and 4, the Infinity War and this, quite protective of what we'd done in Ragnarok. And spoke to Anthony and Joe and said, I don't want to go back to this old version. I was a little nervous that they were going to write that version. And they said, no, we've got something different again. And so, I think Infinity War captured a great sort of balance of as you say, the comedy, the drama, the sort of gravitas of this Norse mythology. And it's about that collaboration, obviously, but you have to also speak up and put your kind of stamp on it and take ownership as well. And it just under the stars aligned at the right time. I feel it's nice to sort of finish strong with it, as opposed to sort of, I'd hate to have sort of gotten to this point and feel like I'd sort of done it all, or the versions of him, and it was just sort of on autopilot. That would be sort of creatively pretty unfulfilling.
I mean, what was the most fulfilling part of bringing it for a landing here and completing this story? I mean, did you feel like you were able to still be able to improvise with it, or did you have to really shift to the tone of this, the part 4 in specific?
Yeah, I had definitely more improvisation in this probably than the previous one. The stakes were sort of as high as they could be, but I think we found a great way to kind of have another version of, or another sort of the more growth in the character and something unexpected again, and that was just so much fun. And as I said, sort of I'm very thankful that it happened this way. We finished strong as opposed to the other way around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for Endgame as well, I think we're continuing this story of Thanos, and I think one of the first film was very much from his perspective in a lot of ways, and we've had this whole, Thanos is right movement as well.
Yeah.
This whole the philosophy involved. So how have you felt about the way that people have taken to that character, and do you feel like this film grapples with that sort of reaction?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think at any time, the most fascinating villains are the ones that you sort of empathise with when you're not supposed to, or you start to sort of buy into what they're about, or they have they actually have a valid point. Then as an audience, you're conflicted, and you start to sort of empathise with their situation, and I think that's that's they make the most interesting villains to watch and sort of go on a journey with, and they force then your heroes to also respond differently, and I give credit to the writers and the Russo brothers for curating a villain with that many layers and that much depth that people do. That people are split in sort of where their allegiance lies, and it's not. There's a grey area that I think they like to sort of have their stories exist in, especially in Winter Soldier. You started to see it's not as sort of simple as right and wrong. There is this sort of section in the middle where we can all be quite conflicted and unsure of which direction we should head.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Pleasure seeing you again.
You too, mate.